likes. So I decided to do the Catholic tag that's been floating around. Heather at A Catholic Mom's Life did it a couple months ago, and so I grabbed the questions on my phone here, and I'm going to actually iron while I answer the questions. Normally I would do a laundry chat, but I actually have some ironing to do. Do you guys still iron? I used to not, because I had a front-loading washing machine, and so when I would wash something and then hang it up, it was pretty much good to go. We opted for a top loader when we went to replace our washer, mostly because it doesn't have the same mold issues, but also it was cheaper, and the clothes get severely tangled, and so they, even when I hang dry them, they're still wrinkly. So I've had to take up ironing. So I thought I would answer the Catholic tag while I iron. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. All right, so the first question is, am I a cradle Catholic? And yes, I have been a Catholic my whole life. I was baptized as an itty bitty baby and went through all the sacraments. I did kind of stop going to Mass when I was in freshman in college. I didn't have a car, and I didn't understand that it was I didn't really understand like the whole obligation part of it. It was more like, I mean, I liked going to Mass, but it wasn't on my radar at that point, and I just didn't go. I think that happens to a lot of college students. Like the whole obligation thing seems to kind of get away from them, I guess. And so I wasn't trying to be like, I don't love you, Jesus. I just didn't really understand. So, but yes, I've always been a Catholic, and it's just been in the last year or two that I've become what I call a traditional Catholic. So I like to call myself like a cradle cafeteria Catholic. It was one of those things where I kind of mixed in my will with God's will. But now I'm a traditional Catholic, and I'm raising my children to be a traditional Catholic and pulling my husband along for the ride as well. So, next question. What is your favorite Bible verse and why? I have a lot of favorite Bible verses. I have a lot of favorite Bible verses. Like, it's hard to say today. And my goal actually this next year in 2019 is to read the Bible more and kind of get a better sense of where certain stories are and all that kind of stuff. But I will tell you that ever since I was little, the visitation, you know, where Mary goes and visits Elizabeth and John leaps in her womb, that has always just stood out to me in a really special way. I think it's because I have been so strongly pro-life for so long. Ever since I can remember hearing about abortion, I've just been very vehemently against it. And the whole idea that this infant, you know, which is, you know, this body and soul of St. John the Baptist, is responding to Jesus' presence, it gets me. I love it. What is your favorite Christian song? So I actually started listening to Christian radio back when Ryan was first deployed in 2000, when was that? 2015. Because if you guys are Army and you or your husband leaves for, you know, sections of time, you know you need some God in your life, because otherwise it is crazy hard. I would say He Knows My Name is kind of like one of my favorite songs right now, but again, I am super open to hearing about other Catholic musicians. Okay, question 4. What is your favorite thing about Mass? Oh my gosh. Where to start? You guys know that I love Mass. I love Mass so much that I tend to go at least twice a week. I want to say that I think my favorite part of Mass at this point is the Eucharistic prayer. I think that the moment where those bells ring and Father holds up the host and then he holds up, you know, the wine, and you know that Jesus is entering into that piece of bread and that liquid of wine there, that cup of wine, it is incredibly powerful. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it's traditional to say, you can say my Lord and my God, which I think comes from what Thomas said after he touched Jesus' wounds. I challenge everyone to pay attention. Pay attention to what it feels like after Father holds up that host and Jesus is now present in the sanctuary, like there. And then, watch for when they go and lock Jesus back in the tabernacle. But so now Jesus is no longer like exposed, but yet he's in the whole church. So, throughout all the people that are living tabernacles, he's now there. And I mean, I don't know if you guys can sense the difference, but it's pretty powerful. Okay, what do you think is the biggest misconception about Catholicism? Where to start? So, I guess I'm just gonna go to Mary, because I guess Mary is like this hang up for so many Protestants, and I don't get it, because the Bible is very clear about giving Mary to us as our mother, and that she's without sin and she's a perpetual virgin. And I was listening to Catholic radio the other day, and it was all about how when we die, Mary is the one who will meet us, and then, you guys, I'm going to try not to cry, and then she's going to turn you around, and there will be Jesus. And he was positing that purgatory, for some, is as short as seeing Jesus and Jesus pouring his blood from the cross, like in water, onto you and cleansing you. And it was goosebumpy, and there's more to the story that I can share later, and I'll try to find actually the audio for another video anyway. But what is your favorite way to pray? Well, I have a huge devotion to the Divine Mercy Chaplet and the 3 o'clock hour. I think it's so powerful. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of prayer requests, mostly having to do with family members. But yeah, so there's just, a lot of people that I pray for. And so the Divine Mercy Chaplet is amazing. I love St. Faustina. I have her diary. One of my goals this year is to read it. I just need to make myself a reading time to where I literally sit down for at least 30 minutes or something and read. Who are your favorite saints? I love studying the saints, but I don't have a very good understanding of a lot of them. I just wasn't raised like that. It's just the funniest thing. I just wasn't raised to study the saints. Oh. I do love St. Thomas More, because he was a lawyer, but 2, because I just absolutely love his joy. I know St. Teresa of Avila is a doctor of the church, and St. John of the Cross, and they are cool to read. They're intense to read, but they're cool to read. But I just love St. Thomas More, because he stood by his convictions, which is amazing, but he was just such a happy guy. And I just, there's something about being joyful. I think that's also why I like St. Nicholas so much too, because he was just so full of joy. And of course St. Paul is the ultimate saint to look at and revere and things. So anyway, I love a lot of saints. My confirmation name, I took the name of Anne, St. Anne. I don't know I don't really know if my church emphasized confirmation name or not, but I don't even remember how that works. Is it your name and then the saint's name, or I don't know. But literally my mom had a saint book, and I just opened it up at the beginning. I was like, oh, Mary's mom, that's cool. I want to be a mom. And so that is how I chose the saint name. It was I did it really fast, without much research, without much thought, didn't know anything about really any other saint. And so there you go. So, but, I think it's still a good saint name for me to have, because motherhood is really important to me. It's a weird thing to want your children to be nuns and priests. I only have 2 kids, and if both of them take religious vows, I won't have any grandchildren. That's kind of heartbreaking. But it's just an interesting thing to really want your kids to be saints. And I really, I kind of look to St. Teresa of Lisieux. I kind of look to her parents as guidance, and also St. Monica. Okay, you guys, I am done ironing. Let's see, what else do we have here? You have a mass at your wedding? Yes, for sure I did. I love mass, as I said before, so it made total sense. And most of the people in the congregation had no idea what was going on for the most part, but it was a very nice mass. The interesting thing though, when you're Catholic and you get married, is that you don't have that Hollywood kiss right before they announce that you're husband and wife, your first kiss as husband and wife is actually when you do the offering of peace. And I really love what my priest said. He said, now that you're married, this is the way you should always do the offer of peace to your spouse. You always give them a kiss. So if you guys are not kissing in church during the offering of peace, start. But that was our first kiss as a married couple, and then that was it. Like, there was no kind of like picture moment at the end where, you know, we had our like presentation moment, you know, but we didn't have like another like kiss. So anyway, it was kind of an interesting thing about being Catholic, but again, it's about God and, you know, not about what Hollywood makes it be about. Do your children have biblical saint names? Now, I addressed this in my laundry video that I'll put up above, but just really quick, Chloe's name is, no, it was Be Liked Chloe. Megan's my sister's name. Neil, actually I think does have God in it, or it's about something, but Neil is a family name. It was Ryan's grandfather's name, and Michael is Saint Michael, but it's also my dad's name, who happens to be named after Saint Michael, so it just kind of worked out. But he has actually a very powerful God name, and if he becomes a priest, I think that'd be pretty cool. Chloe, Chloe, poor girl. I think there is a Megan in the Bible, or no, there's a Chloe in the Bible. I think she's a convert. So I did look that up the other day, and I don't know if there's any Megans in the Bible, because I think Megan to me sounds like a more modern name, but it's my sister's name. All right, so that is my Catholic tag, but thanks for doing my ironing with me, and I hope you learned something about my faith walk. And I know some of you asked me to talk about how I transitioned from a cafeteria Catholic to a traditional Catholic, and I just started taking communion only on the tongue. That took me years to do. I used to pass off Chloe to Ryan so that he had to take the communion on the tongue, and so I could still use my hands. Again, I was raised in the late 80s, early 90s in terms of my catechism, and I don't know, dude. It was all about the hands. Anyway, so I will do that video. If you guys want to see that video, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. And I hope you guys have a blessed day. Don't forget to let me know if you do some ironing, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.